Be me, 28, queer, been in activist circles since college. Always clowned on men online, especially when they whined about paying for dates. I'd reply, "Bro, it's like $20, one cocktail and some fries. Stop crying." Everyone in my group chat would hype me up for it. Growing up, I never once saw a woman reach for the check. Dad always paid when we went out. So did my uncles, my friends' boyfriends. If a man didn't, people whispered he was broke, cheap, or just not man enough. In my head, paying equaled masculinity and whining about money equaled weakness. College just reinforced it. The girls in my activist club would brag, "If he can't pay $50 for dinner, how's he ever going to provide?" We laughed. Said men who split bills were basically roommates, not boyfriends. I soaked it up, repeated it online like gospel. After a string of boring broke guys in my early 20s, I figured I was done with men. Too many bad dates, too many arguments online about splitting bills. I told myself, maybe I'd have better luck with women, at least they get it. So I pivoted, started swiping only on girls. I'd been talking to this femme from Tinder for a couple weeks. Cute selfies, lots of heart emojis, always hinting at fancy cocktails and sushi spots in her messages. I wanted to impress her, prove I wasn't some broke activist bum. So when she hinted at going out, I jumped at it. She said, "Let's do a real dinner, something nice." I joked back, "Sure, how expensive can dating even be?" "One drink, one meal, $20 max." She sent a heart emoji. I thought nothing of it, still convinced $20 to $30 is what guys exaggerate into $100+. Date night finally came around. I stressed about what to wear and ended up overthinking it. She showed up in this flowy dress, makeup perfect, smelling like some expensive perfume I couldn't pronounce. Immediately, I felt out of my league, but played it cool. We walked into this trendy place downtown, dim lighting, neon sign out front, half the menu in French. The hostess beamed at her, barely glanced at me, then led us to a little table by the window. Menus were thick, with heavy leather covers, and half the items didn't even have prices listed. Whatever, I thought. How bad could it be? The server came over, set down 2 water glasses, and asked about drinks. Before I could blink, she said, "Let's do cocktails." I heard the mixologist here is amazing. I nodded like it was nothing. Trying to seem sophisticated, 2 signature cocktails arrived, neon-colored, garnished with dehydrated fruit slices and edible flowers. They tasted like juice, but the bill would later tell me they were $18 each. And she ordered a second round without hesitation. Next came appetizers. She pointed at the ceviche to share, then leaned in. "Oh, and can we get the chef's sides too?" I heard the truffle fries are insane. I thought, sides, fries, whatever, can't add up to much, so I just smiled and let it roll. Entrees arrived. She ordered the steak with a premium add-on of bone marrow butter. I went for salmon, slightly cheaper, just to balance it out. She laughed at me. "You always go for the healthy option, huh? Boring, but cute." I laughed too, but my brain was already ticking numbers in the background. After entrees, I was ready to wrap it up, but she leaned back, twirled her hair, and said, "We have to do dessert here, it's famous." She ordered chocolate lava cake, plus 2 cappuccinos. I sipped mine, trying to act like I belonged in places like this. The server finally brought the bill folder. Without hesitation, he slid it in front of me, like it was a reflex coded into the universe. She didn't even glance, busy fixing her lip gloss in her phone camera. I opened it casually, expecting maybe $70 to $80. My stomach dropped. The subtotal was $296. Plus tax and tip, it would break $320 easily. I stared at the numbers. 2 rounds cocktails, $72, starter ceviche, $19, entrée, $70, premium add-on, $12, chef sides, but $26, dessert plus 2 coffees, $28, tax, $20, tip, 20%, $49. Then Uber, after slachtrain another $24. I blinked hard, thinking maybe I was misreading. Nope, it was real. This one dinner, one casual night, was basically half my rent. I tried to act unfazed, but my hands literally trembled sliding the card in. She casually said, not even looking up, "Thanks, I'll get you next time." Like it was scripted, like she'd said it before. My heart sank. I realized this wasn't a favor, it was an expectation. The server came back, ran the card. It declined the first try because of the pre-auth hold. My face went hot. I scrambled for my backup card. She noticed, tilted her head slightly, smirked, but said nothing. Bill cleared, I shoved it back like it burned me. Walking out, I was drained. She stretched, yawned, and said, "Are you calling me an Uber?" "It's late, and I don't do trains at night." The words weren't even a question. They were instructions. I opened the app, another $24. She nodded with a blank expression before quickly hopping in. The car door shut. Taillights disappeared. I was left standing on the sidewalk, wallet hollow, heart too. I waited on the train platform, doing damage control math in my head. Okay, if I skipped coffee this week, cut groceries to rice and eggs, maybe I'd survive. But then what? Do it again next weekend? With a new girl? A tiny voice said, "Just ask to split next time." A louder voice said, "Right, and watch her face freeze, then vanish." For the first time, I wondered if men build entire budgets around rejection, like line items labeled "Drinks for Strangers," "Farewell Uber," "Silence." Next morning, I woke up groggy, checked my phone. There was a text. "Had fun. Not looking for anything serious." 5 minutes later, she unmatched me on Tinder. I stared at the screen, jaw slack. $320 gone. For what? A quick cheek kiss and a delete button. I slumped back, opened my banking app. Rent was due in a week, balance already thin. That one night torched me. And suddenly, all those men I clowned on didn't feel so funny anymore. My brain replayed my own words, like a cruel echo. "It's like $20 max, stop crying." Nah, it's not $20. It's cocktails, sides, tax, Uber, tip. It's $300 every time, and no thank you. But that was just one girl, right? One bad apple. Surely it's not always like this? Or is it? Do women do this all the time, and men just shut up about it? I sat there spiraling, remembering all the memes I shared about men crying over 2 cheeseburgers. The think pieces I reposted about emotional labor. The snide DM I sent when guys complained about modern dating. I thought they were bitter losers. Turns out they were accountants with receipts. I vented to my group chat. Expected sympathy, maybe someone to roast her. Instead, the girls replied, "Lol, that's just dating, suck it up." One added, "She probably didn't even like you that much if she ghosted. Don't take it personal." I typed back. "But it was $300. They shot back, "Men have been doing that for centuries. Equality means you do it too." My stomach turned. The guys in the chat, quieter usually, finally spoke. One said, "Now you see why men check out of dating." Another added, "It's not that we're broke. It's that it's a rigged game. Pay to play and you still lose." I wanted to argue, but my card statement sat there like evidence against me. I asked the chat, "So what? Am I just supposed to accept paying $300 every time?" Silence from the girls, then a dismissive, "Don't date if you can't afford it." The guys sent skull emojis. One dropped a line that hit me in the gut. "Welcome to manhood." Fine. Spreadsheet time. Run the numbers like a grown-up. One date equals $320. We both saw the receipt. 4 dates in a month. Do it slow so it hurts. 320 plus 320 equals 640. 640 plus 320 equals 960. 960 plus 320 equals 1,280. Apps, so you even meet people. Call it $120. 1,280 plus 120 equals 1,400. Basic upkeep, so you don't look like unemployment. $150. 1,400 plus 150 equals 1,550. $1,550 a month, to be told, not looking for anything serious. My activist brain tried to say, men should just make more. My bank app said, "You're already negative from one dinner." That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, mind spinning. I thought about Dad, the boring provider I mocked growing up. The way he worked doubles, wore the same watch for decades, skipped vacations, and I finally got it. He wasn't boring. He was broke from carrying everyone else. I remembered telling him once, "Men who complain about money are weak." I cringed now, realizing I said that from the comfort of his labor. He paid so I could roll my eyes at him. And now, when it was my turn to pay, I crumbled after one date. My brain kept asking questions I didn't want to answer. How many men went through this exact thing silently? How many swallowed their pride, kept paying, and got mocked for being cheap anyway? How many kept dating just because silence was easier than admitting they felt used? And most of all, if this is just one dinner, what does a lifetime look like? Next morning, I tried to laugh it off with a tweet. Lamau just spent $300 on a girl who unmatched me. Modern dating is wild. It blew up. Men replied, "Welcome to our world." Women replied, "Well, now you understand?" I muted the thread, embarrassed. I sat back, staring at my bank app again. Couldn't deny it anymore. The system I mocked men for hating? It chewed me up in one night. I whispered to myself, half a confession, half a collapse. Men really do suck, but they weren't lying. Dating is kind of rigged, and I finally get why they're such sore losers all the time. I slammed my phone face down and stared at the ceiling. The apartment was dead quiet, the kind that makes the fridge hum sound like a jet engine. Pantry check. Instant noodles, 3 eggs, a bruised avocado. After blowing $300 last night, I told myself I was being mindful. Truth, I was broke till payday. I boiled water, cracked an egg into ramen like I was a Food Network survivor. Scrolled through IG while it cooked. The femme I paid for was already posting boomerangs from a rooftop tonight. Caption, "Life's short, order dessert." Me, slurping noodles alone. Life's long, pay interest. I went for a walk to clear my head, past a couple outside a boutique. The guy was carrying 2 shopping bags and her tote while she was scrolling and laughing at something on her phone. He looked tired but patient. For the first time, it hit me like a bus. Oh, he's me. Forever. I wrapped my jacket tighter, pretending the wind was what stung. The next day at work, at my freelance photo studio gig, I was half awake, editing skin blemishes at 200% zoom. My co-worker Daniel swung by. Gentle guy, mid-30s, always brings granola bars for everyone. He asked why I looked like I lost a court case. I told him the short version, girl, dinner, $300, ghosted. I expected a laugh. He just nodded like he'd seen a car accident. Then he said, "Yeah, that's Tuesdays." I blinked, asked him what he meant. He shrugged, like explaining gravity. To stay in the dating pool, I spend around $2,000 a month. My jaw unhinged. 2,000? On what? He opened a notes app like a man carrying receipts and read it deadpan. Apps. Tinder Gold, Hinge Roses, Bumble Boost, call it $120. First dates, 4 to 6 a month. Average $120 each with drinks and Uber, so $600 to $800. Second and third dates? A show here, a nicer restaurant there, another $400 to $600. Upkeep so I don't look like a couch. Gym, haircut, decent clothes, $200 plus. Random, can you spot me? Emergencies? $200 on a good month, $500 on a bad one. He pocketed the phone, then added quietly, "That's before birthdays." I reached for a line that used to work. But women sacrifice too. Emotional labor, safety. He nodded immediately, not defensive. "You're right. I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you the price of admission for me." He gave me a sad smile. And I still get told I'm not serious if I won't book the tasting menu. I mean, okay, that's a lot, but maybe he was overdoing it. Like, couldn't he just, I don't know, pick cheaper dates? But then again, if he did, would any girl even call him back? Or is that just the rule now? I stared at the screen, dodging eye contact by airbrushing someone's pores. The clone stamp tool felt like a tiny lie I could control. Later that afternoon, the studio's courier Jay plopped on a crate beside me. Jay was 26, tall, a gym rat, always joking. I mentioned the 300 night, expecting him to roast me. He went quiet instead. Then he told me he had paid for a woman's dinners for 6 months. Thought we were building something. She said she wasn't ready to be exclusive yet. One day she texted, "You're amazing, but I met someone who gives me butterflies." Jay laughed once, but it died fast. Butterflies can fly on full stomachs, I guess. He said he looked at his credit card statement after the breakup. 6 months of building something added up to nearly $4,500. Could have bought a used car, he said. Bought a lot of strangers' cocktails instead. I didn't know what to say. My brain pulled the old lever. Maybe you chose the wrong girl. He shrugged. Maybe. But how many wrong girls do you have to pay to meet one right one? On my lunch break, I walked to the cheap deli for a $6 sandwich. There was a line, so I scrolled. Saw an email from my bank. Friendly reminder, your credit card balance is due in 3 days. Friendly felt like harassment with a smile. A man behind me was on speaker with his buddy. His voice was rough from construction dust. Bro, I'm done with apps. I'm down $3,000 this year, and I don't even like talking to people. His friend laughed. He didn't. I took my sandwich to the park, watched a dad push a stroller with one hand while carrying groceries in the other. The mom was taking selfies with the baby. I used to think that was cute. Now all I could see was the receipt in his pocket. That evening, I called my brother out of nowhere. We're not super close, but he's simple in the best way. Honest, careful, never complains. I told him about the date, pretended to laugh, expected him to say, "tough luck," and move on. Instead, he exhaled like he'd been holding something for years. "Yeah, that'll keep happening if you let it." He told me about a coworker who went into credit card debt chasing women. He's paying interest on memories of people who don't remember him. I winced. My ramen bowl sink was suddenly very loud. My brother said he keeps a folder named Reality on his phone. It's not creepy, just notes, averages of date costs, Ubers, app subscriptions, rent. "I keep it so I don't gaslight myself," he said. "Every time someone calls me cheap, I open it and breathe." We were quiet for a moment. Then he broke it softly. "I know you used to clown guys online. It used to sting." I wanted to argue, to say I was fighting for equality, for women's safety, for fairness, but the number 320 sat between us like a witness on the stand. My feminist reflex kicked one last time, like a dying battery. I said, "Maybe men just need to work harder, provide better." It sounded uglier out loud than it did in my head. My brother didn't snap. He just asked, "How hard should a person have to work to be allowed love?" That was such a dramatic way to put it. Love isn't a job interview. I had no answer. He added, "You're broke from one date." The line sliced clean. After the call, I threw my phone on the couch and paced. I hated feeling wrong, so I tried on anger like a coat. Men still make more money overall. Women do unpaid labor. Safety is a cost. All true in their own way, but none of them repaid my card. A random memory surfaced of my mom at the kitchen table when I was 12. She was on the phone with her sister, voice sugary. "He's so stingy," she said about Dad. "I asked for a little extra for school clothes, and he acted like I robbed a bank." She hung up and looked at me. "Remember this, honey. A real man should pay for you." Back then I nodded like it was a life hack. Another memory surfaced. My aunt at a birthday dinner. The bill arrived, she giggled and slid it toward her boyfriend like a game piece. "He's the man," she said, like gravity. Nobody fought it. The table just agreed. Child me learned it without words. Men, equal wallet, women, equal witness. Now, adult me wanted to defend it, tradition, chivalry, whatever. But the math in my notes app kept tapping the glass like a rainstorm I couldn't ignore. I used to think Mom's line about Dad being stingy was truth, but maybe he was trying his best to give every penny to make us live well. Well, if it wasn't enough, he should have gotten a better job. But whatever. The next week at the studio, an older photographer named Paul overheard me venting to Daniel. Paul was 50, divorced, calm like a man who's seen weather. He didn't rant or complain, just sipped his coffee slow. He asked me, almost offhand, "Why do you think the divorce rate's so high now? Why do you think people can't stay together?" I shrugged, rolled my eyes, said what I've always said. Men are stingy, they don't step up, they complain about splitting a dinner bill like it's the end of the world. Paul just looked at me for a long second. No anger, just patience. Finally he said, "That's the script you were handed, but think about it. Men do step up. They pay, they provide, they cover everything. You just never see the cost, because they bleed quietly. No, that's just men playing victim. Women give so much more in other ways." I frowned, but he kept going, voice steady. "When a man takes you out, it's not just $50. It's his rent, his gas, his overtime shift, his savings he'll never get back. Stack that over months, years. Do you see why some men just give up?" I tried to protest, mumbling about equality, about women sacrificing too. Paul shook his head. Women sacrifice, sure, but the system teaches them to expect men's sacrifice as proof of love. That expectation alone kills relationships, because if you don't see someone's effort, you can't respect them. He leaned in a little, softer now. "The reason people can't stay together isn't that men are stingy. It's that men are exhausted and women don't even notice. You call it stingy, and they call it survival." I sat there, heat rising in my chest. No snappy comeback this time. He gave me a small smile, not mocking, just tired. "You've been handed lines to read since you were a kid. A real man pays, a real man provides. But look around. The play doesn't work anymore. People are walking off stage, mid-act." Maybe he was just jaded. Maybe all older men get like this. Still, the room felt heavier, like he had turned on a backstage light I wasn't supposed to see. Is this what guys mean when they say, "It's rigged"? Or am I just temporarily broke and dramatic? Be honest. If the server had slid the bill to her instead of me, would I have stopped her? Or did I like being seen as the one who could pay until the receipt called my bluff?